Here's what I think you should be using instead of Anki to get everything memorized for the MCAT. I'm not personally a big fan of Anki, and I don't think that the research suggests that you should be using it for a test like the MCAT. Instead, here's an approach called free recall, and I'm going to give you an example of how to do it. Let's take a topic like thermochemistry. So you write thermochemistry on the middle of your page, and then write some branches off of that that remind you about what topics you are supposed to cover. And what I want you to do is visualize or pretend that you are a professor and you are teaching your class about thermochemistry. The branches off of your middle topic that says chemistry, those branches are basically your cue cards that are reminding you what topics am I supposed to teach this class about. So if I'm teaching thermochemistry, I'm going to give myself some branches or cues that say things like enthalpy, entropy, Hess's law, Gibbs free energy. And then that's going to give me enough of a cue that I will remember what topics I'm supposed to teach about. And then let's say, for example, I am starting to teach about enthalpy. I have to teach all of that purely from memory. So I'm going over things like endothermic, exothermic, bonds breaking, bonds forming, the different graphs for endothermic and exothermic. I'm teaching what enthalpy is as a concept, and I'm doing all of that from memory. It is substantially harder than flashcards, but research shows that it's going to prepare you for a test like the MCAT faster and better than flashcards would. So I highly suggest taking that approach instead of doing those Anki decks, especially the ones that are containing thousands of cards. And not only do I think research is backing the free recall approach, but I've also put this into practice with all of the students that I tutor, and it consistently helps them score 515 or higher. And many times people will come to me after mastering very big Anki decks, and they will have memorized the entire 2,000 card deck and they are still struggling. But then once they switch over to the free recall approach, they start to see a lot better progress. So I highly suggest that you try this out. And if you look in the link in my bio, I have some free videos that go more in depth with a pretty in-depth example of what your free recall should look like. There's also some paid resources that give you really high yield content and then also downloadable schedules to help you plan out your full MCAT prep.